What is up, Internet? My name is Evan, and today we're going to take a look at a deck I just had to show you. I've been dying to build this for a long time. It's Mega Steelix. It does include a couple of cards from Sun and Moon, and it's not necessarily what I'd say, yes, please take this to Worlds, but it can do pretty well. I've had some success with it, and it's just a lot of fun because this thing it's hilarious. It's a dual type, it's a steel fighting type. It's got 240 HP, which is pretty darn bulky, and it's also got a really bulky retreat. Everything about this Pokemon is big. It's HP, its attack cost, its retreat, everything. For 1 steel and 4 colorless, which 4 colorless is pretty helpful, it deals 160 base damage, and then it also deals 10 damage to each of your opponent's benched Pokemon. The damage to the benched Pokemon can be kind of helpful, but what we're mainly going for here is we're going for that 160 damage, which we can easily buff because this guy's a fighting type, so strong energy and whatnot. Obviously, the point of the deck here is going to be to get this guy powered up in a relatively timely fashion. We've got 3 of them, and we're going to run 4 of the Steelix EX. I mean, you can definitely attack with him too, but he's going to 2-hit KO probably with his Wild Edge, which isn't super awesome, and he damages himself too with that, which isn't that great. And his Iron Tail is total luck. So primarily, we're just relying on our Mega. We're trying to get that guy up as soon as we can. To power him up, we're relying on our Carbink Break. We're running 2 of that because it is, one's really all you're ever going to need. But we have a second one to make it easier to hit and keep from prizing it, etc. And it's Diamond Gift, 1 Fighting Energy, which could also be a Strong Energy, of course, 20 damage, and you get any 2 energies from your discard pile and attach them to one of your fighting Pokemon. So he can't power up the Steelix EX, keep in mind, but he powers up your Mega. So getting the Mega up as soon as possible is obviously pretty crucial. And you use this to dump, say, a couple of strong energies or like a double colorless and a strong energy or something like that onto your Mega Steelix so he powers up pretty quickly. To get this guy going, we're playing 3 of the Carbink with Safeguard just to kind of give us a little bit of flexibility against EX decks. It's something we can throw on their way and block them. And of course, the Break also benefits from having that Safeguard ability. Our cool tech in this deck is Weavile. Weavile, obviously, we're not going to run any Dark Energy for. We got enough of an Energy Crisis as it is in this deck. But what's really cool about it is it provides you a tremendous amount of flexibility that this deck direly needs. It basically fixes everything that Mega Steelix is concerned about, including its weakness to fire. And that's due to its Tearaway ability. It's just a 1/1 line of Weavile here. Weavile Sneasel, mainly because we really only need 1, and in some matchups we arguably don't even need it, and we're already kind of pressed for space. But Tearaway lets you move take your tools off your Pokemon as often as you like during your turn, so you can just keep switching them around infinitely in theory, which is really nice when you're cycling things like Floatstones. And finally, our last 2 Pokemon in the deck, we are running a couple of Shaymins, just to get a little extra draw power, and in the early game it's pretty reliable. You can get a decent draw despite having some evolutions in the deck. When I'm playing Shaymin in here, I'm usually drawing 3 to 5 cards, so that's not bad at all. So that's your Pokemon lineup right there. And moving on to our supporters, it's pretty simple and sweet there too. We got 4 Sycamores because draw power is super crucial, of course. And we also got 3 Ends, pretty standard draw power lineup there. And then we're running 1 Lysander. Once again, we're kind of pressed for space, but obviously Lysander can be a great way to end a game. We often hit for 180 or more damage. I was aiming for 200, 220 when I was testing it, so that's awesome. So you can Lysander in not just Shaymins for easy knockouts, but also you can pick off things your opponent's trying to power up to kind of make sure you maintain momentum and pick up a lot of big prizes too while you're at it. Our final supporter is 1 copy of Olympia. We really do need the Olympia, mainly because our Steelixes have huge retreat costs. And while we're at it, yeah, also some of our other Pokemon have retreats too. So it's nice to have a Versus Seeker able way to get a switch anytime we need, basically. So, and the healing's not bad either, especially since we do have some shield energy to kind of block damage down a little bit. So that's our supporter lineup. Pretty light. That's all we need. And our items are pretty straightforward as well. 4 Versus Seekers to make sure we get the maximum utility out of our supporters, of course. We're also running 4 Ultra Balls. Of course, Ultra Ball and Shaymin are just naturally so very good together. They synergize so well. And this gets us whatever we need to help set up our various evolutions, etc. We're also running our cards from Sun and Moon, as we're running 2 Timer Balls. This can get us access. It's two coin tosses, and you search your deck for 1 evolution for each heads you get. which is pretty darn awesome in this deck. It means you get at least a 75% chance, well, you have a 75% chance of hitting at least one, which is awesome. So you can use this as utility to pick up your Mega if you need to go find it. You can go get that one Weavile. You can go get your Carbink Break. Whatever it is you need for that situation. And sometimes you'll flip two, so you can get the privilege of picking up even a little bit extra beyond the one you most needed, which is really nice. We definitely want to hit the right items at the right time to make sure that things don't stall out on us, so we are running a max set of 4 Trainer's Mails. Our Spirit Links, we're running 3, 1 for each of our Mega. That's pretty straightforward as well. And remember, we can also move these around, so even if you only get one, you can actually use Weavile to pick it up from the Steelix that's already Mega Evolved, slap it on another Steelix that you may be trying to power up on your bench, and Mega Evolve it, so you don't necessarily have to conserve these quite as much as you might otherwise. And don't worry if you've only got one. We've got 2 Float Stones we're running. This allows us to, once again, get out of trouble if we're in it. As long as we've got this in a Weavile, everything has free retreat, basically, which is amazing. You can Mega Evolve, pull that off, slap on the Float Stone, retreat him out if you need to. That way you can get a Mega Evolved on the bench so you can start accessing it with Carbink and not worry if your opponent Lysanders it in, basically. That's the idea there. Pretty straightforward. And good for getting Carbink out of the active slot while preserving its energy in case you need to power up a second Mega Steelix. Our last item is pretty critical as well. Well, our last tool, I should say. It's pretty critical as well as Weakness Policy, because otherwise Volcanion is kind of a threat, and there are, well, anything fiery, but that's pretty much just Volcanion right now, is definitely a threat. This blocks that completely, of course, by getting rid of that, and then they have to actually attack you directly, and even with Steam Ups, it's really hard to one-shot Mega Steelix because of the shield energies. So this thing, pretty important, and we do have the ability to move it around, and here's the cool thing. After you take one big hit, you can actually pull the Weakness Policy off and lay it down on another Mega Steelix and reuse it later if you need to. And it's just a one-of, so in the matches where it doesn't matter, it's easy to discard, so no worries there. And our final item is a Super Rod, so that we can recycle our Carbinks if we have to discard them, etc. And we do have a few basic energies, which are pretty important, because getting Carbink to be able to attack is our way to access all our special energies. So definitely a must-run one of. And we're not running a special charge, because we're running Carbink. We actually want our special energies in the discard pile, so we're not going to worry about getting those back into our deck, because that's where we can't really easily access them. Energy-wise, we're running 4 double colorless energies, because Mega Steelix has 4 colorless energy in his attack, so pretty self-explanatory on that one, at least I would hope that's obvious, because it's the fastest way we can power him up, and even if you've got a number of other special energies on there, at least 1 double colorless really helps accelerate him. We're running 4 strong energies as well, and you can slap this basically either on your Carbink Break or on your Mega Steelix. Those are the only targets. But that's fine, and especially since these can get discarded, you can slap multiples on them onto your Mega Steelix pretty easily, which is awesome. It really gives him the extra punch he needs to hit through basically anything your opponent wants to put in front of you. That's the forte of this deck, is its ability to punch through anything. And finally, we are running 2 shield energies. This gives you a little bit of defense, and it might not seem like much, but these can easily convert 2-hit KOs into 3-hit KOs, because remember, we're toting 240 HP, and we even have access to Olympiad to alleviate a little damage. So you can definitely apply this well enough to prevent, big hits from being 2-hit KOs. Think about a 120, 130 point hit. This definitely can reduce that to where it doesn't make Mega Steelix very threatened. Our basic energies, we're running 2 metal energies because Steelix's 1 required energy is a metal. So we are using these, and these we can retrieve with our Super Rod if we need to. So it's just kind of protecting ourselves a little bit too from things like Enhanced Hammer, just a bit. And we're running 2 fighting energies to also kind of make sure that we can hit Carbink's attack as well. We want to make sure we've got the outs basically to keep attacking, because if we stall, it's not going to be pretty. So anyway, that is the deck. It's pretty gosh darn fun. Like I say, this is a deck I've been wanting to build for a long time, and I think Timer Ball really kind of seals it together. So anyway, until next time, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.